This is a practice on creating problems and solving them using Excel. So we will start by going to my web page. From the OR, you click on Archive, and then there is a section for Downloads. As you go to Downloads, we are going to work with a 4x6 problem. Click on that, and it would download the Simplex tableau.zip for 4x6. Click on it, window brings it up, and then it shows the zipped file or compressed file. Click on extract all files, it will open it and it will extract it, bring that up. The worksheet has two problems on it. One is called the sample and one is called the problem. You will be working with the problem. When you bring up the worksheet, the first thing that you do, you need to save this file as a different name such that you keep your template intact. So we are going to save it as problem 1 or something like that, and save it. Now our template is saved, so we are working with this problem. If you look at the sample problem, you will notice the following. It has the familiar area that are information about the problem. So whatever your problem is, this is what you will fill out. And this is a 4x6, which means it is a 4 constraint and 6 variable. So this is my problem, 2x1 plus 3x2, 0x3, 1x4, and so on. And all problems are in the form of less than or equal sign, so it's less than or equal 40. Problem is maximization, so it's 3x1 plus 5x2 and so on. That's the C. Now this is fixed and we are not going to be touching it. As you start your problem, you will fill this information based on the problem that you are starting with. So this area is something that throughout the solution process would remain fixed. This second area, which is the box in here, is the one that is going to change based on the proper information that we have. And that all these proper information come from the basis. What is my basis? The first basis for this is S1, S2, S3, S4, and based on that I will set up the B. Your real job starts from here, that you need to write this, and based on the basis that you have, based on the XB that you have, now you need to form the B matrix. It's a 4x4 B matrix. In this case, B is associated with the slack variables and it is identity matrix. So we will form the B and the associated CB, which is, of course, there's no slack variable in the objective function, so these are 0. So this is a straightforward up to here. Now from here, what happens is that all these calculations are done automatically. The moment that you change B and CB, these calculations will take place. It is automatic, so you don't have to worry about the calculations of it. What you need to do, your job is really the detail of the job that you're going to be doing is as follows. First of all, you will be looking at this 0 that you have. Pick up the most negative entry in here. Then come down here. Okay, you can color it, but I don't want you to color it now if you want to color it. After you finish, you will color it. For this is much easier. Block this and move it to wherever that most negative number happens to be. In this case, of course, it's here, so we will leave it here. At the right-hand side, this is straightforward and very simple. At the right-hand side, calculations for mean ratio are taking place. This you need to change every time. For every basis you need to change, because this is set based on this to be the most negative. If this is going to be the most negative, then you have to change that. It is assuming that this column is the pivot column. But if your pivot column is a different one, you need to change that. And this is what you need to do. This is the careful stage that you need to go. Click on the first element of this. Okay. Remember what your entering column is. And this is H. This is column H on Excel. This is your pivot column. Click on this, the first element of that mean ratio. Then click inside that in the function area. See what the if statement is. If says if H24, this blue one, you see the color blue and blue, it says if H24, which this number, is greater than 0, then calculate this ratio, which is N24, that one, over H24, this one. Else, put a couple of dashes in there. This is what it is calculating. It is looking at this and it says it is positive, so it is going to do 40 over 1 and write 40. When it comes down here, it says 32 over, and this is 0. It's not going to calculate anything. It's going to write dashes in here for you. What you will do after you fix this is to drag this down so it does the same calculation for the rest of them. So this is done. You finished this tableau. So your job is, first of all, identify what the basis is, set up the B associated and CB associated with it. The tableau information are updated automatically. There are 3 areas in the tableau that you need to fix. One is identify the entering variable yourself visually. So go over this, identify the entering variable, drag these two to where the entering variable is. Then go back, fix the ratio, and then select among the mean ratio. In this case, 12 is the minimum. We are going to, same thing that we did in here, we are going to do for the leaving variable. I mean, you block it and you move it to where the minimum is supposed to be. In this case, it is right here, so we'll leave it here. So you have identified the entering variable and you have identified the leaving variable, and this is your pivot. So entering column, leaving row, you have identified. Then you come down into this box and write that information in here. You say this is the solution of this problem. And you write only the solutions for x's. You don't write the solution for s's. If you want to write them, that's fine. But for this that I set up, I'm just writing the values of the x's. So x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, they are all 0. And the z value is 0. Then I would say it's not optimal. Just the basic information that we always put. Negative values in the 0. Entering variable is x5. That's the x5 column. Entering variable is x5 because it has the most negative value in the 0. Leaving variable is s3. That is s3 due to mean ratio. And then the pivot value is 2. These you need to write them every time. Fix, make sure that they are representing the value. From here, this is what you will be doing. You will go here to here. This portion of the problem. This portion of the problem. Remember we said we are not going to touch the fixed numbers. We are going to just copy the ones that are going to change. So I will click in here and block down to here. Then edit copy or just Control C. It is going to copy that. Then I will bring it down here, a couple of spaces down, and then I say edit paste or Control V. And it will paste the whole thing down here. Now, this is already pasted, so let's look at what is it. Remember, this is a sample problem. This is set there such that you can check your steps as you are going through. So this is what we have. So it is XB, and I'm going to use this information that I have just above it to update mine. X5 is entering, S3 is leaving, so I'll put X5 in here, and 1, 2, 3, the third column will be the column of X5, which is P5, and I go up here, and this is P5. I can just copy it, or I can just remember the numbers is 1120, and I'm going to update this with 1120. Associated value for the CB was 6, so I'm updating these two. Remember, this needs to be updated and that column needs to be updated. And as you update these two, the table automatically calculates all the entries. Again, this is your job. From here, you will look down here and say, what is the most negative number? What is the most negative number? And associated with that, you will move that where that most negative number is. You will go back here and calculate the mean ratio. Now, mean ratio last time was H column. This time is F column. So let me go back and say what would have happened if this was F column. I would click in here and I will look in here. What is it checking? It's checking the H column. There are two places that you see H in here. One in here and one in here. You need to change those with F. So when you come down here, you click on that, you notice that I have changed that with F. That is F. That is F. So you need to actually physically go and edit these two values to get that value. After you get that value, you drag this down such that it updates all of them, and then you look at these numbers. But in the meantime, you will be looking to see whether, oh, it didn't calculate in here. What is the point? Oh, there's a negative. So everything looks okay. So again, you will move these two to where that minimum is taking place, and that's where it is. So now I have my leaving variable, I have my entering variable. This step is finished. I have to go back and write the solution. I will update the solution, and guess what? After I have updated the solution, I will repeat the process. I will go here and copy this area, another Control C, and I will bring it here and say Control V, and it will put it down there. Okay. Now, this is a done sample. Your problem is here, and it doesn't have anything below that. It just has this first one. So this is where you need to actually, you have to copy from this portion, not the original box. You do Control C and then click here and say Control V, and it will put it down here. Now you need to, based on this information, you need to go update this and write. So you start from here, you start from this problem definition, and you start from this all problems, because we are doing all problems less than or equal sign, and with all variables greater than or equal. So this is what we will be doing, and that's all we need to know about this.